Warning: Dollar Store Danganronpa, as a series, contains violent themes and imagery. People be dying and stuff. If you don't like that, trust me, just skip over this series. It won't be for you. With that said, this is an entirely satirical franchise. Expect nothing to be taken seriously. The budget was 3/4 in a wad of chewed out bubblegum. Tariffs have hit the Danganronpa killing games hard. With that said and done, enjoy Dollar Store Danganronpa Episode 4, the Chapter 1 Class Trial. There's a first time for everything. Spoilers for the majority of Chapter 1 ahead. With that said and done, enjoy the intro. Boo-doo-doo, boo-boo-boo, boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, boo-doo-doo, 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 boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, boo-doo-doo, boo-boo-boo, boo-doo-doo, boo-boo-boo, boo-doo-doo, we walk away, yeah. The elevator kept going. Down, down, down. Maybe it took 5 minutes. 10. Eventually, it reached rock bottom. We left the elevator, stepping out into a large courtroom. It was gigantic. Probably as big as the basement floor itself. The room was huge. 2 large pillars with posters, a giant elevated seat Monokuma was sitting in. Not to mention the various scribbles and faces on the walls. The entire room had a purple color scheme. In the very center was a large pink plate. A ring was made with 16 wooden stands. Jean's memorial was in one.
Welcome, everyone! Please take your seat. They're all specifically labeled. Also, feel free to have this log of the body. I found it under a pile of paperwork. I forgot to give it to you.
Truth bullet found. I made my way to my stand, thinking of all the evidence I'd found. I needed to be ready to apply them at any time. I looked around the stands. My legs already feeling weak. Was I really about to do all this? But then I realized somebody here had committed a murder, a felony, a terrible crime. They killed Jean to fuel their own escape. And now they were standing in the same room as us, trying to play innocent so we take the punishment for them. I may have only met Jean, but he was an innocent guy and definitely didn't deserve this. And I made a silent vow to him. I will face this class trial and unmask the Blackened. I won't let Jean-Mez's death be in vain.
All rise, guys. It's time for the class trial. It's class trial o'clock. That's the time.
So, what do we start with?
Yes. I've been wondering about this for a moment, but how is Fire Jason supposed to speak? Isn't he mute? Oh, I've got that one handled.
Boom.
It comes with text to speech.
Well, how about we start with how Jean died? Class debate start.
Well, it's certainly not clean. You got anything else to add, Captain Obvious?
Please, you two, look at the details. Jean was killed in the electrical room. Exactly! Jean was probably electrocuted or something. No! That's wrong! Is that a voice crack? Sorry, Hal, but that's just not right. See this Monokuma file? It explicitly states that Jean only sustained blunt force trauma and stabbings. No electrocutions.
So, what was used to kill Jean then?
Isn't the screwdriver sticking out of his skull kind of obvious?
Yeah, obviously. But there's more than one.
Class debate start. So, Jean was stabbed with the screwdriver. There were two weapons, possibly even three. What about the blunt force trauma? How could that have happened? Maybe the killer threw Jean against the wall. No, that's wrong! Now, hold on a second. I'm pretty sure the killer hit Jean with the bolt cutters from the hallway. Not only are they out of place, but they're faintly stained with blood. The killer must have struck Jean with these after the murder before it. What are you, stupid? Oh, come on. What are you thinking, Paul? Jean couldn't possibly have been hit with the bolt cutter second. I guess if you want something done right, you do it yourself. Rebuttal duel start. One bears the truth. The killer couldn't have stabbed Jean first. There's a pile of evidence proving he wasn't. Now are you going to accept the truth, or do I need to beat it into you? That's not the truth. We have Doctor's autopsy to prove it. And what if Doctor's the culprit? Who can say he isn't just making it up? The room got bloody from the head wound, which is why the culprit had to clean it. The screwdriver can't possibly kill Jean that fast. Even if Jean couldn't see his attacker, he would be screaming bloody murder! Doctor's alibi is airtight. No way he's lying. I'll have to find some inaccuracy in his words. Just one. And what if Doctor's the culprit? Who can say he isn't just making it up? The room got bloody from the head wound, which is why the culprit had to clean it. The screwdriver can't possibly kill Jean that fast. Even if Jean couldn't see his attacker, he would be screaming a bloody murder. I can see through it! The killer put duct tape on Jean's mouth as the murder happened. Even if Jean did scream, nobody would hear.
So they put duct tape on his mouth before stabbing him? Then they bludgeoned him?
Of all the people in this class trial, how did Ronald figure it out first? So the killer used the blackout to ambush Jean, since he couldn't see, and used duct tape so he couldn't speak. Exactly. It was in this moment that the killer probably, stabbed Jean and bludgeoned him.
So, how did the killer cause the blackout in the first place?
Class debate start.
Well, the killer couldn't have access to the power box. Yet they still knocked the cabinet over. The culprit hid the keys, so they had access. Yet they broke the power box anyway.
So the power box was unlocked and then busted open, and Jean struggled to live?
What?
No, that's wrong! No, Digger. The culprit had broke open the box, then they hid the keys. There's supposed to be 17 in the cabinet, not 6. And why would the culprit do something so idiotic? It's painfully obvious, this error. The leading theory seems to be that the culprit was trying to cover up their crime. But why? If the killer ambushed Jean, no need to cover up the crime, right?
Hal does kinda have a point.
How are we supposed to settle this matter? We're in a standstill. Split down the middle, if you will.
Did I just hear you say, split down the middle? I have the perfect solution. Everyone stand very still.
What's going on?
Oh, I'm just putting you in the teams of yours. Now you can settle this debate knowing who is an ally.
Boo, boo, no, no, boo, 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 wow, 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 bow. Debate. If the culprit had cleaned the crime, what's the point in taking the keys if the power box was unlocked? Ivan! The power box was still locked. We just established that.
What about the keys? Why would the culprit hide them? There isn't a mic point.
Awada! The point is that the culprit hid the keys, then they could trick people into thinking they didn't break the power box open. And what about the evidence in the electrical room? It's too sloppy to be covered up. Orbsman! There were multiple pieces of evidence found in other rooms, too. The culprit was hiding them. Evidence or not, there's still blood on some tools of the crime scene. The culprit wasn't hiding. SpongeBob.exe. Speaking of blood, there's the heavy amount of deep cleaning they did for the electrical room. Obviously a cover-up.
What about the tape? They left it in the middle of the crime.
For a cover-up? That's not good. Ivan! You mean the tape that was otherwise clean? Or the strips holding Jean to the wall to make it not look like an ambush? But what if the culprit left the crime scene instead of staying there and ran to their dorm? Doctor!
The culprit couldn't have left if Ivan didn't hear their footsteps. If they did, another person still covered up the crime.
Um, actually, the culprit didn't even have a motive for doing all of this. Unbased gibberish.
Baldy. The motive was to make it not look like an ambush so he wouldn't figure them out and they could get away with it. You're looking at this the wrong way. Monokuma wouldn't clean a crime scene, which is why it's not a cover-up. I got this one. Which is exactly the point. Monokuma would want a grisly crime scene. It being cleaned proves his innocence. 3, 2, 1, go! I'm mashing my buttons! I'm mashing them! It's a still frame, but I'm mashing them!
This is our answer. Suck it, bum.
Alright, so it's settled. The culprit ambushed Jean and covered up their crime, spreading the evidence.
So, what about the murder? The order, I mean. There were 3 weapons.
I suppose, in all fairness, we can agree the Willies would stipulate a variety of weapons.
Class debate.
Stat.
So, we can begin with the obvious. Screwdriver in the dome came first. The witch in Jean's face. Did those come second or third?
There's a Mick possibility that the shards were before he died.
So, were the metal chunks part of the cover-up? Part of the fight, maybe. I doubt it was the cover-up.
How do we know the metal bits are even relevant? Probably not even from the crime scene.
What? No, that's wrong! Actually, I think those metal chunks in his face came from the toolbox the auditorium crew found. It's dented with some chunks missing. It could be a bit of a stretch, but I think it's still a possibility that the culprit used.
Actually. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Another terrible take from the man trying to spearhead this campaign. No worries, I shall show you exactly why you're wrong, and then I'll take the torch to lead these server members to the answer.
Boom! Rebuttal duel start. One bears the truth.
Your reasoning is not as sigma as mine. The toolbox may have been in the auditorium, but it's empty. I was wrong about the crime not being covered up. No way around that. But the possibility is still out of the window.
But why? You can't just say I'm wrong, then not explain why. We need to get to the core of the argument so we can figure this out.
Sorry, force of habit. My main argument is how the toolbox is empty. Nothing at the electrical room that could be a tool either. The only tool is a screwdriver. Aside from that, nada. Okay, there are the bolt cutters and the duct tape, but those don't count.
There's a lot of holes in Hifumi's argument. But there is one point I could exploit. It could likely further a trial. That point I hadn't realized before.
Oh, sorry, force the habit. My main argument is how the toolbox is empty. Nothing at the electrical room could be a tool either.
I see through it! Hifumi, the shrapnel in the electrical room. What if they were the other tools? Has anyone else identified the shrapnel? It is possible. Great observation. It is also a neat way to hide evidence. Would the other tools even be evidence? Only the bolt cutters and screwdriver used to hit Jean. That and the toolbox itself. Maybe they were, paranoid? To crush about 10 to 20 tools to unidentifiable scrap. Our killer must either be exceptionally strong or have tools that strong. That doesn't take down the suspect list by a lot, but it'll do. Class debate start. I don't mean to insult, but I feel the first ones we can cross off are the mortal humans.
That's a lot of us here, though. I mean,
Of course, that's a good thing, but you know. So, Dr. Baldy and I, then there's Paul and Fumi, Donald, Ronald, and Ivan. Same sound to me. Everyone else is paranormal or mechanical in some way.
so who are remaining suspects? Hal, Digger, Fire Jason, SpongeBob.exe, Water Orbsman, and Ramatra?
Too bad we don't have any way to shrink the list. But I guess that's what alibis are for. What? No, that's wrong! Wait, Orbsman. Ivan had an observation earlier this morning, during the blackout. He hadn't heard any footsteps during the blackout, yet the culprit obviously made rounds around the place. Which means the culprit had a way of not making footsteps, either by being light or some other. No, that's wrong. Hey man, you can't just steal my line like that. What the frick? Paul, that's not right. I will admit, my reasoning in the large-scale debate was false, and you've been successfully leading the group, but this is a snag. I will explain to you one time, and one time only, Paul. Hopefully you'll be able to understand. Monokuma is the blackened of this case. Rebuttal duels start. One bears the truth. Your previous arguments all hold water, granted. But the blackened you are searching for isn't one of us. Monokuma is the blackened. He has done all of the schemes and covering. Monokuma has access to the entire building, so we could easily get, say, a compactor to dismantle the tools. I've explained this, Ramatra. Monokuma can't be the culprit thanks to the blood cleaning. And the crime scene was trashed, but not cleaned. If it was cleaned, there would be some kind of proof of them cleaning. Monokuma can jump into the ceiling. Who can say he didn't use that maneuver? Then he could dispense the evidence around the area. There were no existing hitches, snags, or catches. Monokuma is the only possible culprit. I hope I've made you realize that. I've explained this countless times. Monokuma can't be the culprit. Battling him on this won't do anything if he'll deny it again. I need to prove him wrong. And the crime scene was trashed, but not cleaned. If it was cleaned, there would be some kind of proof of them cleaning. Oh, I see through it! The culprit wiped themselves clean with that weird gray ball thing. That's why it was stained. I hate to be harsh like this, but it's time you listened and stepped out of your echo chamber. Monokuma is not the culprit. Wake up and smell the candles! Fine. I shall refrain. Well, with, this tension out of the way. Paul, what were you saying about Ivan and his hearing? Ivan was in the hallways during the blackout, and he didn't hear any footsteps. However, with the allotted time frame and the spread of evidence, the culprit had to pass through the dormitory hall. So, the culprit's paraplegic? What? No! He means the culprit has some way to avoid making footsteps. Nobody even is paraplegic. Yeah, makes sense, I guess. So, SpongeBob.exe, Hal, and Digger. What? Why am I suspect?
You're literally floating right now.
That's because I'm too short to reach the stands. It's not my fault I have to levitate. Guys, I think we need to take a step back here. Do you have any idea how loud digging is? Who cares if I can do it fast? I can't do it quiet. We're tearing each other apart with these accusations, but I've got it down to 3 people. Between Digger, Hal, and SpongeBob.exe, there's only one person that could be both quiet and strong enough. Someone who's been leading us astray this entire trial. Select someone. It's you, isn't it? This might be a total misfire, but with the evidence we've collected, I think the killer is Hal. Wait, what? Digger's right. With the time frame given, he couldn't dig quiet enough. SpongeBob.exe can levitate just like how you can fly, but you're the one who's been leading us astray since for as long as the murder's been present. Hey, I didn't. During the investigation, you tried to bring a group of people with you to the auditorium, the largest and generally most empty room. You went against us during the large debate. You've hardly said anything correct, if anything at all. Even just now, You've tried backpedaling from the topic we discovered about the killer's lack of footprints. I don't want to accuse you in such a manner like this, but the only possible culprit I see is you. I know, you're wrong. You're a madman with red strings and a bulletin board. You have no real evidence. Are you going to continue using ad hominems, or are you going to address these allegations properly? Hang on! Let me defend myself. You're wrong. Class debate. Start. Better get to explaining, boy. You're on thin ice. All right, I get it. I'm completely innocent. It's not my fault. I'm a victim of circumstance.
Do you have a McAlibi?
I was in my room sleeping in. The announcement woke me up like everyone else. Can you prove that? Otherwise, the previous evidence of the cover-up and footsteps still apply. Well, sure I can fly. That doesn't mean I'm the guilty party. I mean, do you have any substance beyond hidden evidence? There's no other examinations you have! Oh, no, that's wrong! We have an entire autopsy from doctor that basically proves a secondary wound was applied post-mortem.
My alibi is airtight as well. It's thorough, clean.
What? Are you saying just because the crime is covered up, I'm a murderer? Ooh, using a straw man now. How adaptive. Also, technically it does. You're the only one here who matches the lack of footsteps and the strength for the cover-up. Well, then, prove it! Show it to me! Show me the evidence! Class debate. Stop. Okay, fine! You have a doctor's note. Good for you! But that doesn't change your lack of evidence. You've got nothing but your red thread and bulletin boards. Your reasoning is stupid, it's weird, it's dumb, and it doesn't make any sense. But above all, you have no physical evidence. What? No, that's wrong. The duct tape on Jean proves you wrong. They're covered in blood. It had to have been applied post-mortem, after the crime scene was cleaned. Which means the crime scene was cleaned, which leads back to you. Honestly, with that pouting fit of his, I would have voted him anyway. Is it bad that I agree with Waluigi on this one? So, is it decided? We're gonna vote Hal? You're wrong! You have nothing! Nothing! You're gonna vote wrong! You know why? I'll tell you why! I can't see in the dark! How am I supposed to kill a person I can't see? I don't have night vision! Can't you shoot bright red laser beams from your eyes? I can't use those without breaking everything! I'll tell you your lack of evidence myself! Minigame time. Oh yeah. You're just wrong! No evidence! Stupid! Dumb! No night vision! I can't see! Impossible! It means nothing! It's just stupid!
said you have no proof. It means nothing. Ridiculous. You have no proof. I used my laser beams.
Meat on the bone. Wait, wrong game. It ends here! The burn marks on the walls of the electrical room. They came from your laser beams. That's how you saw. No! No! You're not. I think I'll have to explain this whole case again, from top to bottom. This whole thing started in the electrical room, right after the culprit caused the blackout. Jean, who had just left the kitchen, came along. No idea what happened between the two, but the culprit put duct tape over Jean's mouth. Afterwards, the culprit rummaged through the nearby toolbox, taking out a pair of bolt cutters and a screwdriver, crushing the rest in the scrap, before chucking the toolbox into Jean's face and stabbing Jean in the skull. With Jean dead, the culprit got to their cover-up, hitting Jean with the bolt cutters and duct taping Jean to the wall. Afterwards, they wiped themselves clean with a handful of duct tape patches, rolling them into a ball. All the culprit had to do was dispose of the evidence. The toolbox went in the auditorium, the duct tape ball went in the kitchen, and the bolt cutters went in the hallway. With all that, the culprit just had to blend in with us. You've hidden our ranks long enough! Hal Stewart, the ultimate cool superhero! You're the one who killed Jean May!
Wowie zowie! What a turnout! Are we all ready to vote? I take your silence as a yes!
The results. Down, down, down.
Down, 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 down.
Correct!
Yeah! Oh boy!
I just hit the jackpot! Hey, 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 I just hit the...
Congratulations! You all got it right. Hal Stewart, the ultimate chud, is the culprit!
Wait, ultimate chud? Yes, it's true. My true ultimate is ultimate chud.
Whatever, boring. You're a chud, we know. This episode is getting too long. Let's get to the juicy bit. The execution.
Wait, execution?
Nope, no time to wait. The game just started. We can talk about this stuff later. Let's get into it.
No. Wait.
It's punishment time! Man, that's a good one. I should trademark that. Hey everyone! Look at my gavel! Boom!
But hey, you're not supposed to just catch them. Dang it. His powers make him too strong. Hey.
I've got an idea!
Bow, bow, down, 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 ba-do, da, 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 do. Ba, 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 da, do, ba, da, 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 do. Ba, da, 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 do. Ba, 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 ba. Innocent, innocent, innocent. Chapter 1. Oh, you want to escape? You want to escape? Complete. "14 survivors remain." Dun 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 dun.
Ding ding,
Dum bum 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 ba dun dun.
ding ding,
Dum bum ba dun dun.
ding ding.
Dum bum bum ba